The wealth creators exist. This is long-term business. This is short-term business. Every one of us can live in, you can have a company which makes a lot of money, but you can still go bust. Your profit and loss could look fantastic. What you submit could look very, very wonderful, yet your cash flow can kill you because there's no wealth creation. There's a great concept, a great business plan, a wonderful idea which never gets off the ground. It's short-term business because something in the universe doesn't support you. And because business eventually covers more intangible factors, unexpected factors, immaterial items than can be controlled by one's brain, logic, and business head, eventually the universe will get you. Eventually. Long-term business demands the biggest radius cycle of energy, of return, of wealth creation. These are wealth creators that sit here. Our job is to somehow see how do I elevate myself where I can become a long-term wealth creator by understanding the true nature of sharing. Now the question is this. If I truly want to become a person who is unconditional, like the Rockefellers and Carnegies, a person who really sees the passion and need, more importantly, of giving, if we're saying, as we are, that the reason for that giving is that there is, in the law of return, the greatest cycle of receiving, how really giving are you? I mean, if we're saying on the one hand, we want to be huge wealth creators, okay, then we're saying you've got to give. You've got to give. The universe will ensure you give. People that don't give, lose. The universe will take the things that you should have given. Whether it's just a household bill, your roof collapses, or whether it's the business loss, something. The universe will take the chunk that you should have given. So this is not a kind of, a business gym idea. This is universal concept which every one of us knows. We don't really want to admit it because in that real wealth creation cycle, the idea of giving is difficult because we want to receive, we want to gain, prosper. Well, we can. That's the paradox of giving. I'm going to explain that in a second. But the question is this. If that is true, if now we're teaching that a person to create wealth needs to find a passion of giving, how truly giving is it? Because I know the outcome is the return of wealth. So now I'm selfish again. It's not passionate. Okay, now I'm going to really find a place to give. Why? Because subconsciously I know what? I'm going to receive more. So is it right that you should build the nature of desire to share because it's effect? I'm going to get more. How sharing is that? What do you think about that? Better to be, yeah. Better to be rich and miserable than poor and miserable, right? That's what they say. Yeah. Okay. But that's not really the ultimate answer, I guess. Or if it is, we're in trouble. What else do you think? How do you marry that paradox? All of a sudden, I desire to share. Okay, I get it. I know I'm selfish. I kind of contract myself. In that consciousness of me, I can feel much less. Even within wealth creation, I can feel I have less. So I'm going to start to love, passionately find places to give. But why am I doing it? Because I want to receive more. So the root of my selfishness perhaps hasn't changed. How do you marry that paradox?
Could it be by feeling and imagining yourself as part of the whole rather than just yourself? So that receiving is not just for yourself, but you're all receiving as a result.
So when I share, I'm actually creating a wealth creation for everyone. Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
What is the problem of having that balance not really there? Because even in religions, people pray, but they also are asking for something.
Absolutely.
I can't see a problem.
And perhaps if I was really controversial right now, which I'm not luckily, I might come back to you and say, religion is not perhaps the best example of where people have true happiness and fulfillment in accordance to the leaders of religion. So something's gone wrong there as well. So it's the same kind of idea. There is this concept which I'm sold, which doesn't seem to be received, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't receive, to the contrary. Business Gym, all of us, the spiritual nature, the Kabbalah, the spiritual role behind it, discusses the idea of creation of wealth. Be bigger vessels to receive more wealth, absolutely. What I am saying is, if the consciousness is actually one of receiving, of taking, of need, of me, I will never get to enjoy what I have. Think about it. In the one hand, if you give a gift to someone, right? That £50, whatever you spend, if that person relishes the gift and you've spent effort buying that gift and they're opening 10 gifts, who's happier, the giver or the receiver? The giver. The person's opening, wow, this is so lovely. I've never had that blue tie before. Wow, it's wonderful. But from your point of view, because you see they love it, it was, and that happiness, that energy is far more valuable than the knowledge that I'm £30 less off right now, which doesn't really affect much. Why is it that we feel more connected to our kids than our parents? Because we give endlessly, unconditionally to them. Why is it you can't stay for half a day out your businesses? You could, but it wouldn't be healthy. You can't just take endless months off. Why? Because it's not about the time that you put in. Giving is the only way to feel connected to something. We see it in relationships. If in a relationship, how many people, hands up please, if you think that to create a healthier relationship with a loved one, you believe in becoming more and more selfish? Let's put your loved one in the room. See what he says. Right? For sure, it's a stupid idea. The only way to create better connection to my loved one is to give more because I feel more connected to him or her. The same thing in time. If I feel the universe is running away with my time, I haven't got enough time to do anything, the paradox is give a little time to someone else and watch how somehow the emptiness of time, the need of time, the lack of time disappears from your life. Because somehow things get done for you. And we know situations where we have just had days where everything's fallen in our lap. And it's been just a little bit miraculous. Wow, these things chased me. And there are times when everything I do gets nowhere. This is this law of return. Unfortunately, we don't so equate it to money because money is much more tangible. It's tougher. It's a raw source of my security. I can share love, time, but money's sometimes a little bit tougher. Or perhaps not for everyone. Some people would like to share a bit of money, but don't talk to me. But there's always somewhere. But the question is this. Ask yourself this question as well. In terms of love, or money, or time, which do you feel in your life the biggest lack right now? Right? Just think to yourself, perhaps all three, but choose one which you feel, where you feel the greatest lack right now, or the greatest trouble right now. Just think to yourself. You haven't got to share it because it might be personal. You've all thought of something? Ask yourself this. By every theory, that is the one area that you are least giving in. Now, that might be a shock. That might be untrue to your logic. But guess what? Logic lives in the world of short-term gain. Logic is to take. Logic is that world. And it doesn't work. We see it clearly in relationships. It doesn't work. I need to find places where I can connect more to what I want by giving in those areas. I need to give away that amount of money. If I'm married, I have to give away my wife. No, I'm joking. but it means that we have to give to the wife more, obviously. Because if that consciousness of giving in that area, it connects me more to the thing that I desire. This is the paradox. When you give, and again, it's such an important idea. If you have a capacity of business called £1 million, if you give, if you expand yourself, if you give, which creates a lack, it's difficult. What you do is you create now a vessel which is far bigger. You are now spiritually, consciously expanded. What's a more evolved person? A selfish person or altruistic, selfless person? Who's more evolved? No question. It's an expanded person. So that person has now a capacity to receive more. But what do they first feel? They feel the gap. They feel the lack. Because that place of where I'm going from first gear, where I'm driving very fast, in control, really at the top of my game. I'm moving to second gear. Oh, I haven't got quite the same pull now. I don't seem to be. Yeah, but you're going to get further with your second gear. You're going to have more engine capacity with that second gear. But you have to go through neutral. It's difficult, right? I'm still in the world of a gear shift. Maybe some people have paddles or automatics. But you have to go through that neutral. That's the illusion of giving. When you give, you connect more to what you have and you get more. You get more. Wealth creation from giving gives you more wealth. But we come back to our question. Is it a problem? And perhaps it's not. Is it a problem that in our desire to share, it's with agenda of me getting more? Hands up who thinks that is a problem.